Hello, welcome back to Babbling Zoom. Uh, let's talk about Cyberpunk. Probably the best way of starting it. Why not? Um, so there's this thing that I love about the Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime, where they really focus a lot on cyberpsychos. Something if you played the game, you essentially go out and fight. Um, and the thing is, because the anime really heavily kind of like focuses on the problems with cyberware and just kind of you know reaching for dreams and stuff with the cost. uh it's one of those things where it's like there's a lot of stuff that happens in the anime that you really wished or allow people to come back, go in and basically go back to 2077 and just like kind of live out. One of the things you can't do is push yourself to the edge, possibly become a cyber psycho. And this is one of those things. I believe that Cyberpunk kind of has everything it needs, and maybe sometimes even made the mechanics themselves in a different game. So, so let's share a screen real quick. All right. So one of the key things that Edgerunners really focuses on, like I said, is the concept of cyberpunk, just the whole cyber psycho mentality, right? I mean, if you watched the very first episode, you were basically watching a full thing about the cyber psycho, the creation or the middle of a cyber psycho kind of just going at it and like taking out a bunch of cops, right? Uh, but in Cyberpunk, with all the things you can do to your body, there is no actual way of really implementing the concept of a cyber psycho. All right, you're given the ability to just go ahead and do whatever you want, to the point where now that everyone has watched, or most fans have watched the Edgerunners cartoon, they are now going crazy with the Sundanistan uh upgrade and all the abilities to mess with it, essentially making you unstoppable like the anime. um and I think maybe that's the real question, is there possible to, oh, yeah, I know I just pulled a work in progress game thing, but is it possible to implement some form of some mechanic that tracks, could you possibly go cyber psycho, which is one of those things, right? Anyone who's played some of the earlier 80s 90s tabletops, uh along with Cyberpunk that came out around the same time, uh I started playing Shadowrun. To those who don't know, Shadowrun is basically, what if you took Cyberpunk and D&D and put them together? Essentially, futuristic world of Cyberpunk with the concepts of cyberware, hacking the internet, controlling drones, all that stuff, everything that is Cyberpunk, but then throw in the concept that is magic and ogres and elves and dragons and zombies and all that stuff. Perfect melding of the two, right? Um, so the one thing that I'd never played a Cyberpunk, the Cyberpunk tabletop game, but I have played Shadowrun and loved it ever since, and even played some of the games. By the way, the Sega version by far trumps the Nintendo one. Everyone loves the Nintendo one because it's more famous. I love the Genesis. Sorry. But that said, um, the one implement that Shadowrun introduced was the concept of balancing cyberware with the concept of magic. So essentially, because I don't have anything up right here, let me just quickly doodle it down here. You had your basic stats. I think it was like body, quickness, blah, 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 right? And I think there was a magic was on top of that, right? Depending on the race, depending on what your strength was with all that. But the way cyberware worked was the more cyberware you introduce to your body, well, each piece of cyberware ate up a certain number of points in your body. So say your body was 6, and you figure I'll put in that much cyberware into my body. You're basically left now with, now body didn't do it, like body didn't really, yeah, body was your limitation to how much cyberware you can put into your body, right? So you can't go beyond this number. Do you go too far? You're not human anymore, right? But this cyberware also ate into your magic points. So I'd say my total is 4.5. If you initially had a magic of 6, they disregarded decimal point and rounded up. So now you only have a magic of 1, essentially messing up your magic and you not being a magic user anymore. That was the concept. Because Cyberpunk doesn't have a magic system, it doesn't need to be beholden to that. But we all kind of want to play around. Oh, I think some of us wants to play around with the concept of what a cyber psycho could be. So, like I said, CD Projekt Red probably surprisingly already made a system kind of like this. We go back to the Witcher games, and I'm not just talking this one, not just Witcher 3, all the Witcher games. Even though the world of the Witcher had this concept of toxicity. It was baked into the books. So it was there. And they translated it really good into the games. You tap into your you chug a few potions, and essentially it starts messing with your abilities. It just starts messing with you, right? So it limits the amount of times you can chug a potion and beef yourself up, right? You throw a cat potion on, throw I can't remember the other potions for some reason. But you start chugging like 3 potions and then you're pretty much at your max. And then you'd have to like wait for a while or take something to cleanse it or go to sleep to cleanse your toxicity. Right? So this essentially limited the amount of things you can do with your body or with your abilities. So what if then with the next Cyberpunk game, because at this point it looks like that's going to happen. They definitely announced it. They definitely announced another Witcher game. So what if we play around with the concept of cyberpsychos? What if you introduce this whole concept right here into your stats. Now we're talking about limitations, right? You have a limited amount of your tolerance to cyberware is good if you're very low about it, right? Fine, no problem, right? And as you start activating your skills, you start tapping into your threshold. Very little cyberware, you can spam those things all you want, no problem. Again, if you watch the show, the anime, kind of like David spamming that, he's just got a higher threshold. He could spam his Sandana all the time, right? Wait, I circled adrenaline points. My bad. So this is the toxicity. You can spam it up to a certain amount of times, but then just like in the anime, you got to throw an injection real quick, boom, to drop the levels. Right? I need to zoom in some more. If you put more cyberware in you, the more you use, the faster that builds. Yes, you're a walking tank, but better watch how you use that. Take another put another blocker in there, boom, it's gone. Right? So what if you put so much cyberware into you, it gets crazy. So now you're thinking, well, before, because I only had the subdata stem in your back in your spine, you thought, oh, well, I could spam this about, what was that, 5 times, right? But now that you have that Sandana stand plus your gorilla arms plus your legs, you figure I use my Sandana stand once. This spams up here. I throw my gorilla arms on. Boom. That jumps again. See how it should build up, how it could build up. Boom, 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 boom. Actually, what if it was like 5? Or it was like Sandana stand into gorilla arms, into jump, all for this sweet combo. Out of Sandana stand, back into this mantis blades, and you're pushing. You're pushing it. The screen fuzzes for a second, like it does when Johnny midway through the game, where the game kind of like glitches for a second. It's a warning telling you stop. Maybe there's an extra threshold where you can keep going, and you're like, no, I'm going to keep going. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Until all of a sudden the screen goes crazy. You can't control your body anymore. All of a sudden, the game switches you to NPC for a second. And then you're just watching as your character goes off attacking everything in sight in front of you. Then the more you attack, the more levels go down until you get to a safer level. Then you have control again. You just become a cyber psycho. Watch it. Now the cops are on you. It's not just a standard like, oh, well, the cops are on you, no problem, like 1-star rating. No, you instantly triggered what is the team? What is that SWAT team that shows up out of nowhere? You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Those who play the game. This is a great idea for the next version. I'm hoping. I don't think anyone's going to listen, but it would be great if CD Projekt Red considered something as crazy as this. You've already created this system with The Witcher. Take the concept of toxicity and then throw it into Cyberpunk. Now we could actually ultimately play this whole idea, right? you can say to yourself, hey, you're basically saying, hey, go ahead and put as much mods as you want in your body. That's fine. Just watch the consequences. Right? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And maybe if CD Projekt Red sees this, awesome, cool. Hopefully, hopefully they're already thinking about it. You know. So that's my plan. That's my idea, or that's my suggestion, I should say. Slap a little Witcher in there. We'll see how far you go before you go psycho. Cool. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. That's all I got. Bye.